you see so many people with different styles of kicking. So there's people that even just the Portuguese penalty takers last night. I think Fernandes walked to the ball, right? Is there anything in the style in which they kick, or is it purely in that person being in the right place to perform whatever style they're choosing?
Yeah. So this is a part, I guess, associated with the kick that I am interested in, because this is the type of technique that they use for kicking can be just vastly different from player to player. And we saw this very well illustrated last night. All the players except Bruno Fernandes used what we call a goalkeeper independent technique, which is the traditional technique, meaning that they've decided beforehand, I'm going to shoot the ball, high to the left or low to the right. And they put their head down, focus on hitting the ball cleanly, and they go for that corner or that spot. So it's the easiest way to kick a penalty, but it's hard to kick it really well. Most players do it. It has one big downside, and that is that if the goalkeeper goes correctly, then statistically in a penalty shootout in the big tournament, you're about 50%, you have 50% chance of scoring, which is not good odds. If the goalkeeper does not go correctly, you will score on about 95%. So basically it's all down to, or not all, but a lot of it is down to, will the goalkeeper go correctly or not? And if the goalkeeper goes correctly and they go early, then the chances of you scoring go down even more. And what we saw last night was a Portuguese goalkeeper who went correctly for all 3 shots, and he went early. And then your odds as a penalty taker, they're actually pretty small of making that goal. And this is also a little bit of an evolution, because we've seen, again, it's a mistaken advice that has been given to goalkeepers that you need to stand as late as you can. Don't give away where you're going, but just stay, which is good when you meet a penalty taker with the Bruno Fernandes style, but not with the other style. But with the Bruno Fernandes style, which is essentially he's walking towards the ball, he has not decided if he's going to shoot it left or right. Then he looks at the goalkeeper, lifts up his foot, and lets the goalkeeper make the first move, and then he just rolls the ball into the other corner. And there's some players out there that are fantastic at this. Lewandowski from Poland, for example, probably the best one. Now imagine how sophisticated that technique actually is. And under the pressure of, so many people watching, it means so much. And you're about to hit the ball and you haven't decided. You don't know where you're going to hit it. You have to have such a good cognitive, motoric proficiency of that kick, but you also have to have an extremely clear mind to be able to deal with this stress of that moment, to execute that so well. If you have that, then you have a technique that is more robust, I would say, in these types of situations than before. But this is also now becoming a game, right? We saw with Lewandowski the other day against France and Maignan, we saw a goalkeeper who was on to Lewandowski. He knew what he was going for, so he was making a little fake move on the first kick that was then disallowed. The goal was disallowed. And on the second kick, he didn't make a fake move, but he was standing, making it very difficult for the penalty taker. So this has now become this cat and mouse game, not with respect to do you shoot left or right only, but also with respect to what type of technique that you're using. And this is a very recent development in football.
Yeah, it's actually so fascinating in the sense that that really is what sport's about. This kind of, you want sport to be down to this real game-like cat and mouse. That's also, you don't want it to be predetermined. You don't want this sort of predetermined outcomes. You want it to be this idiosyncratic experience that's going on, right? That if you do look at those 3 Slovenian penalties, they were great shots, actually very similar to what Ronaldo hit in his first penalty. And the Slovenian keeper went the right way, but he's probably just slanted into that very low percentage of getting it in. And it was, even after his celebration, was like, oh, that was tight, that was close. And that is just sometimes how it goes in sport. There's almost a finger width distance between the goalkeeper saving it and it going in, and then Diogo Costa gets it right and it's bang straight in the middle of his palm. That's the beauty of sport. Like, that's where you have to sit there and go, as hard as it is, that's just could have been on the other way.
No, I agree. And it's like you said, the 3 Slovenian kicks weren't that bad. They were okay. And if the goalkeeper had gone in the other direction, which they do half of the times, you know, statistically, then we would have all applauded them and said, you know, what a safe kick that was, and like such control, and you know, all those things. And it didn't, and this is what we got. Now, I do think that you need to see, of course, this over a little longer period with more kicks and so forth, which is hard in football also because you don't get many penalty kicks at this level in your career. But for goalkeepers, it's a little bit easier, and for specialist penalty takers, it's a little bit easier because they typically would accumulate more kicks. And Costa has a decent record with penalty kicks, so this is not his first rodeo either. Now, but if you look at a player like Ronaldo, he has a lot of kicks, so it's a relatively big sample. But he scores just above average in his career. I think he has like 82 or 83% hit rate, something like that. And the average is about 80. So even a player with his stature and his skill level is not a great penalty taker. And that is also why I think so many people look at penalty kicks as something that is difficult to control. In my book, I have a chapter that I called The Messi Problem, because it's the same with him. Lionel Messi, you know, the best technical football player we have and have had the last decade, is a below average penalty taker. And that makes you think that this is something different. And it is, which is part of the fascination.
Hello, you legend. If you've enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy this video right here, which is the full unedited episode. Go on, head up to it. Up there. Go. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any new videos. I'll see you soon.